I'm Alex Johnson. I'm the District 5810 Rotary Interact Chair. This video is being made to help you start a new Interact Club. The audience for this video are both students that would like to start a new Interact Club in their school or Rotarians that their club is ready to sponsor a new Interact Club. I would also like to let you know there is a document that coincides with this video to help you start a new Interact Club. And as always, if you need any help, feel free to call your district Interact team and we'll be able to help you at any time. The first step applies if you're a Rotary Club and you know you want to sponsor a new Interact Club. Now, if you are a student and you would like to start a new Interact Club, we will cover that at a later step. So Rotarians, this is for you. The first thing you need to do is identify the Rotarian advisor in your club. That's basically a volunteer that's going to be committed to working with the new Interact Club. And this isn't just saying hello. This is somebody that's per RI, they will need to attend all their meetings, their board meetings and their journal meeting. And this Rotarian advisor is somebody that will represent Rotary to the school, specifically to the Interact Club. Now, some of the key components that this Rotarian advisor will need to do is the ability to mentor and to motivate the students. And you're also going to have to mentor and motivate their faculty advisors as well, because keep in mind, this is a hardworking teacher that's being a sponsor of this Interact Club on their spare time. Another role is for the Rotarian advisor to help facilitate and protect the students, because this is a club that is sponsored by not only your club, but all of Rotary International. And part of our responsibilities as Rotarians is to protect the youth. And the third critical component for a Rotarian advisor is to connect and to coach. What I mean by that is connect these students to the world of Rotary. We have a lot of initiatives that are targeting interactors, and there's a lot of initiatives that interactors can partner with Rotary clubs, not only just your club, but other clubs as well. Then the other component of the third category is coaching. Keep in mind, you're working with students from the ages of 12 to 18. They don't have organizational experience. They're going to be looking for you, a leader in the business community, to mentor them, because this is something that they don't have any experience in, and part of our objectives in Rotary when we start these Interact Clubs is to mentor them in the area of nonprofit management and, more importantly, changing the world and making a difference. So your role is very, very important. Now, probably about the hardest part about being a Rotarian advisor is you need to be prepared. You can't just walk in there and learn as the students learn. They need to see you as a mentor and advisor. So to do that, you need to understand the rules of the road for Interact Clubs. And Rotary's provided all the documentation needed for you to do that. The first most obvious document is the Interact Handbook. It's a very detailed handbook that steps through everything an Interact Club needs to know and how they function. And that handbook is for both the officers of the Interact Club, you as a Rotarian advisor, and also their faculty advisors as well. Now, Rotary has also created a guide for sponsors. That's both you as a Rotary sponsor, and then also for the teachers that function as their school sponsors. And it steps through what the roles and responsibilities are for you as a Rotary advisor and for the school sponsor. It's recommended that you share that with their school sponsor as well. Now, Rotary has also provided them some formal documents in the terms of a template constitution, which is required when you have an organization. So Rotary provides a document that has a constitution and the bylaws, so that way the club can use that as a template and then tweak it so it meets the needs of their school, because each school district has different rules and policies that need to be incorporated into the constitution and bylaws for that very specific Interact Club. Now, thirdly, which is a very important document, it's called the Interact Certification Form. Basically, this form is what you're going to use to turn in to Rotary International in order to get the club chartered. So all you need to know on this form is you need to know who their school sponsor is, the address of the school, who the Rotary sponsors are. You need to get that signed by your Rotary Club president and also the district governor. All these make up steps that a Rotary Club needs to do when they're planning on starting an Interact Club. When you're a Rotary Club and you know that you're ready to sponsor an Interact Club, honestly, the hardest thing is finding that club founder, which is going to be their inaugural club president. So, what you need to do is think about what qualities are you looking for in this student. Because keep in mind, what is our motto as Rotarians? Service above self. So you need to find a student that has a heart of service, that wants to give, that wants to make a difference. Now, you also need to find a student that's a leader. They don't have to necessarily be a straight A student, but they have to be somebody that's willing to lead, that's willing to step out of their comfort zone, because they're going to be working with both students at their school, but they're also going to be working with the school administration, teachers, and Rotarians. And as we know, Rotarians are the leaders of the community, and not all students are prepared to do that. Now, when you do find that student, they also need to be organized because they're running a nonprofit, basically, and they also need to have the ability to present because they're going to be talking to groups. They're going to be talking to their club. So, how do you find this student? Well, the most obvious way and the easiest way for us Rotarians, look for Rotarians, because we work with each individual high school to select the best of the best to attend Camp Ryla. Well, when they come out of Camp Ryla, they're always gung-ho for Rotary, and they're usually wanting to start a club. They just don't know what to do. So if you know your club is ready to start an Interact Club at a high school, you need to go to the students that you sponsored for Camp Ryla. They're easiest, and they're the best leaders. Now, let's say you don't have Camp Ryla students available. Maybe it's a middle school, or maybe it's a school that did not have any Rylarians. Well, then you're going to have to really do the hard work. What you might want to do is talk to your membership, see if anybody has kids at that specific school, or, because Rotarians, we're old, it might be grandchildren. Those are the greatest ways, or ask recommendations. Do you know of any student leaders at this particular school? These are all multiple ways that you can find students that can step up to be your club founder. Now, when you do find that student, the most obvious question that they're going to have is, why should I start a new Interact Club? What's in it for me? Well, some of the things that you are going to want to articulate to the students are the fact that all interactors, they're going to learn the importance of service within their local community. They're going to learn how to develop strong leadership skills and time management skills, because it's going to be all about servicing the community. They're also going to learn how to be diligent. Interactors have to be diligent. They're going to have to be diligent within their school, diligent and dedicated within their community, because when they work together, they're going to realize the merits of teamwork and also self-confidence, and it's going to help grow their self-confidence. Because you may not know it, these high school students have a lot of insecurities. They're just learning the world around them, and we as Rotarians can help them overcome those insecurities and be confident as they know they're also changing the community. Now, another powerful thing about Interact, it's going to allow them to develop lifelong friendships and relationships. And they're going to be around other people that they're going to want to aspire to be, or that they're going to inspire. And just as we are all inspired by the Rotarians, Interactors will be inspired by doing service projects with Rotarians. Now, one of the things that you also want to let them know, being involved in this club, it's going to let them hone their leadership skills. It's going to allow them to develop a passion for community service, and it's going to allow them to take part in a lot of Rotary activities that span the entire community, and a lot of them are targeted just for high schoolers. For example, we have our Leadership Summit in the fall. We have our Spring Fling, which is in the spring. We have our Peace Symposium, which is in February. And then we also have Camp Ryla, which, if we know there's interactors involved, we always take care of our own. We have the 4-way test speech contest. We have the Rotary Youth Exchange. There are just a lot of reasons why interactors are going to want to be involved, and Rotary is going to help them meet their goals. Now, something else that you might want to let them know, that they are not alone. Interact is bigger than themselves. This isn't just a school club. This is an international club. There are over 20,000 Interact clubs in the world, which comes to almost 500,000 interactors. We are represented in 159 countries. Interact is huge, and they don't have to do this alone. Interact is bigger than themselves, and they have a lot of help. They have their school, which is going to support them. Then they also have their school sponsor, which is there to help. Then they have your Rotary Club, which is going to support, and then you as their Rotarian advisor. So let the student know that they're going to get a lot out of being that Interact Club president. It's going to look fantastic on their resume. They are part of a bigger ecosystem because there's so many Interact clubs, and they're going to get a lot of adult support and mentorship. And so then, once you find that Interact Club president, then we go to the next step, which we're going to help them do what they need to do. This step, I'm targeting the student. You're either going to be a student at a middle school or high school. You are the person that's going to be the founder of this Interact Club. You're going to be the first president. This is a very important step. The first thing you need to do is find your faculty advisor. That is going to be the teacher at your school, or it could be a counselor or an administrator that's going to support your club. Every school requires that you do that. Now, when you find this person, the first things you're going to need to talk to is why you need them. And really, the basic things are letting them know that Interact is part of Rotary and you're a community service club. 2, you're going to need for them to allow you to use their room for your meetings. 3, they're also going to articulate to you what the school policies are relative to your club. So that way, as you have ideas and projects, you're going to share them with your faculty advisor, and they're going to guide you along the proper way of doing it. Then also, you're going to let them know your club is basically going to consist of, at a minimum, 2 meetings a month. 1 is going to be a board meeting, and then 2 is going to be a general member meeting. And that's really your commitment, their commitment to you. Now, the big question is, how do you find that faculty advisor? That is actually the million-dollar question. The best way of finding a faculty advisor is talk to the teachers you know. If there's a teacher that you know you have a good relationship with, that's somebody you should just ask, will you be our school sponsor for this Rotary Interact Club? A lot of times, be careful if that teacher is a coach. They have a lot of responsibility before school and after school, and they might not want to take on another club. But there's a lot of other teachers that want to help and they want to be involved. Something else you might want to do, if you're not familiar with who might be a good teacher, is maybe talk to your school administration. You could talk to a counselor or talk to the principal. Let them know what you want to do, and if they have any recommendations of teachers that might be available to be your school sponsor. Now, if that doesn't work for you, you also should talk to your friends. They'll know who the good teachers are, and let them know that you're looking to start this new club and you would love for them to help you find your school sponsor, because only when you find that school sponsor can you actually start the club. That's why I say that this is the most important step. Now, worst case scenario, if none of those previous methods work, I've had another student, what she did was she just sent an email to every single teacher in school. The email basically covered what was Rotary Interact and asked them if they would be her Interact club sponsor. She had a few people that responded. Now, I discourage you from starting off that way. Face-to-face is always the best way of recruiting that sponsor, because they're going to want to meet you and you're going to want to meet them. Now, let's say you finally secured that school sponsor. You need to celebrate, because that is the hardest part of starting an Interact Club. And once you do it, now we can move forward. Now, While you are working with all these different teachers to find out who's going to be your sponsor, this is the time you might want to start doing your initial recruiting for your school. So you're going to talk to your friends, talk to other students that you know like to volunteer, talk to people that you don't know. I could tell you some of the 4 most obvious places to find members for your club is STUCO, because Student Council always requires service hours, and Interact is a club that gives service hours. AVID is also a program that requires service hours. You also have PAL, Peer Assisted Leadership. That's another organization in schools that requires service hours. And thirdly, NHS, National Honor Society, or NJHS if you're in middle school. They require service hours. So that is like the easiest place to recruit people for an Interact Club, from NHS, STUCO, PALS, or AVID, because participation in any of those 4 programs require that you do a certain number of service hours. And Interact, that's what you do. We are servicing the community and we provide service hours. So, once again, first step, find that school sponsor. Very, very important. Second step, you need to recruit for your initial members of your club. And then the third step, once you have your sponsor, you got your initial members, then you're going to work with your sponsor to fill out whatever documentation is needed to be an official club in your school. You really want to move through these steps as soon as possible, because you can't start and do anything else until you have that done. At this point, we have a school club. You've got a club founder, the first president, that knows that they want to start the Rotary Interact Club. You have the faculty advisor or school sponsor, synonymous. That's the critical point of starting a club within a school. You submitted documentation to be an official club within your school. So while we're going through all that, now the Rotary Club, this is your step. It's your job to charter this club within Rotary International. And so with that, you're going to use that certification form that I talked about in step 1. That form is going to look for specific information from you. This is for the Rotary Club to do. 1, they want to know the name of the club. 2, they want to know who that club's school sponsor is. That's why that's such a critical point. 3, they're going to want to know who the president is, the address information of the Interact Club. Then now, you're going to have your Rotary Club president sign, and then you're also going to have the district governor sign. Once you have that document completed, filled out, all you do is email it to the RI website, which is interact@rotary.org. Send that in, and about 3 weeks later, Rotary International will provide you the charter for your new Interact Club. And obviously let us know at the District Interact team so we know that we have a formal first new club. Congratulations. We have just talked about how to start a new Interact Club. Let me recap. There are 4 steps in that. First step is that Rotary Club needs to properly plan. They need to find their Rotarian advisor. They need to read through the documentation. Second step, you have to identify that club founder, that first president. When you find that club founder, then the third step is on them. They have to find their school sponsor, and they also need to fill out all the information that they need within their school to be a formal club and recruit their initial club members. The fourth step is for the Rotary Club. They have to fill out the new certification form, send it in to Rotary International, then they're finally chartered. At this point, you are a functioning Interact Club. Now, if you want to take your club to the next level, you should watch the next video, How to Grow an Interact Club, and you'll be very pleased with your results.